Yo, what's going on? DJ True Justice, All Purpose DJs. When I was younger, high school, junior high, I wanted to DJ. I always wanted to DJ. But at the time, my grandmother, she didn't have the funds. I was raised by my grandmother. And I knew she couldn't afford like turntables. They were like $400 a piece. But my main inspiration was I wanted to be Jam Master Jay. And that was like, I didn't want to be on the radio. I didn't want to be a club DJ. I didn't want to do none of that. I wanted to be the DJ behind rappers, keeping on time and cutting, scratching. That's what I wanted to do. So that was like my main influence back then. But I went through a couple different channels. I started out as a dancer for a popular Bay Area group, APG, which is Action Pack Gangsters. I was a dancer for that group. And then the DJ, his name was Jay Cut. He actually took me aside and taught me like fundamentals. I brought Action Pack Gangsters to my high school. I remember clearly like it was yesterday. It was 1989. Brought him to my high school. I was a dancer. But like in every hip hop show, well, back then at least, there was a part where the DJ got a solo. And so I remember Jay Cut, he had a solo, and just everybody, like all eyes were on him. And I just remember like, that's what I want to do. He was just cutting crazy. Like with two vinyls, same thing. I remember it was DOC. 1, and then it comes to 2 to the 3, and 1, and then it comes to 2, and he just tore it up, and then it was over for me from then. I remember I was 16 years old. I was dancing for APG, and I had a gig at this club. At the time, it was called the Kennel Club. It's changed. It used to be Justice League, but right now it's called the Independent. And so I remember I had a show, and my mom came through, and my mom was just like, "Hey, that's my baby up there." She brought some of her friends, and I just remember taking heck of pictures and just having a good time. And I was just it was so awesome that my mom came through, to one of my shows, and that was like one of my earliest hip hop memories. I have to call her and ask her, do you remember that? But yeah, I still have pictures from that. I went on the tour. It was called the Red X Tapes Tour. And basically, Red X Tapes was an album that Equipto from Board Stiff and Opio from Hieroglyphics put together. And we all went out. It was myself, Opio, Equipto, Z-Man, and AC Alone. And actually, that tour actually brought me back to like, yo, this is something that we could really do. We're all like, of the same kind of age group. And so it was like, man, we were like comrades on the road. And it was like, man, this is some, a lot of people like to say real hip hop, but it was just, to me, it was like true hip hop because we were having such a good time. The turnouts were great. And it's just something that like we all love to do. When I get on the turntables, I like to have fun. I want the crowd to have fun. It's a lot of interaction. I just, I interact with the crowd. I use the mic. A lot of DJs sometimes just play records, but that's not the era I come from. When I get on the turntables, I'm like, yo, what's going on? My group is called the Balians. Shout out to Spaceman Cell. Enzyme Dynamite. And, I DJ for Equipto, I DJ for Z-Man, Paris, countless others, but there's a thing that sets me apart, which is I'm interactive, I like to interact with the crowd, I like to speak, I like to cut, I like to play joints, like, you'd be like, oh, he just played that. Like, yo, that's the type of DJ I am, I'll talk, I'll scratch, I'll juggle, you know what I'm saying? But it's interactive. So when I was starting out, I had to throw my own shows. You know, I started out. I'm an East Bay DJ, meaning I'm from Oakland, but I live in Berkeley. But back in the days, East Bay DJ couldn't go to San Francisco and DJ, you know, because I wasn't down with a clique. So like the biggest obstacle that I had to overcome was just basically like getting on and throwing. So if I was gonna do a party, I couldn't really get booked. So I threw my own shows, you know, along with DJ Lex. You know, that was my partner in crime at the time. We used to throw our own shows. And so that was probably like the biggest thing. And, you know, now I throw my own tours, you know. So that, I think that was like the biggest obstacle. Like, if I'm not going to get booked, I'm going to book my own shows. People will remember me because I always look to the youth, you know. Because I remember coming up, I wish somebody would have put me on. You know, and be like, you know, I started DJing, like all my friends were MCs, they were rappers. Nobody was a DJ. I was like the only DJ, you know. So at that time, I had to learn by trial and error. So now, I have an opportunity to teach younger DJs, younger artists, you know, and bring them up, which I didn't have that. So I would say like what I'm going to leave behind is a way of bringing up the younger acts, the younger cats, the younger DJs, the younger artists, the younger MCs that like, yo, how do you do this? And I'm like, yo, well, this is how I did it.